The Nerd Academy podcast is released weekly at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, available on our website at www.thenerdacademypodcast.com and wherever you listen to podcasts. You can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. You can also help support the show by going to patreon.com/The Nerd Academy podcast, where every donation allows us to bring you more exciting content every week.
You know, if I didn't have to be at work after I'm done recording this review, I would be drinking right now. Drinking from our sponsor, but we'll get to that in a minute. Good morning, guys. If you can say that, welcome back to the Nerd Academy podcast, your source for nerddom news and commentary. Travis refused to debase himself and watch Morbius. Armin and I, however, do not have that same level of self-respect. We saw that shit opening weekend.
I apparently hate myself so much that by the time today is wrapped up, I will have talked more about Morbius than 3 podcasts worth or 3 of those movies put together. After this, I'm never going to talk about it again until I do an audio commentary. I hate that movie with a passion.
How much will it take in Patreon money to like get around to Morbius?
Look, I will rather watch Blade 3 and commentate that again. And I will do it sober this time, even though I haven't drank in like 3.5 years. I will do it sober if I have to. But Morbius is going to be, oh my God, I'm not mentally ready for that. Even though it's an hour and a half, it feels like 6 hours. That movie, man.
It certainly packs in like 6 hours or like 6 hours worth of movie into that hour and a half. And I don't mean that in a good way. It's something rough. But before we jump into that, Morbius drinks blood and also our souls, but you guys can be drinking some Sunday's Bloody Mary. Slick that is. SundaysBloodyMary.com/shop, your one-stop spot for the most badass Bloody Mary accoutrement on the planet. You guys know what's up. You got the spicy Caesar mix, my favorite, of course, my live streaming drink of choice. The mild mix, the vegan mix, the subscription box. They got all of it. Everything you can need for your Bloody Mary desires. Go to SundaysBloodyMary.com/shop. Use code TNAP, TNAP at checkout. You get 10% off your order, and you help out your favorite nerds while you do it. Now that that's out of the way, holy fuck, this is so bad. Like bad on a level I wasn't expecting. Like I went in and I was like, it'll probably be Venom 1, Dad.
Yeah.
You know, like Let There Be Carnage is fine. It's fine. It's a dumb, fun movie.
Yep.
We had a great time with it. You know, this is just awful and is unintelligible. Like I literally didn't laugh. Like I didn't have fun watching this.
Well,
you know, and there's a bell curve with bad movies. You know, where like when you get over that hump of just being hysterically bad, it becomes insanely fun to watch. And this never even got there.
No.
It just stayed incoherent the entire time.
You know, I want to bring up, you mentioned fun. And there was one thing I distinctly remember, you know, having gone back to a couple movies now since the, movie theaters are getting back to whatever the new normal is. Anytime they would play the Morbius trailer, there's that line where he goes, "I am Venom." And then he stops. He's like, "Oh, no, Michael Morbius at your service." And people legit got a pop out of that during the trailer. They cut that out of the movie. Why did you only cut the only fun line out of that the audiences must have reacted to when you watched a reaction to the trailer, being like, "Oh, they like that funny line." Scrap that entire line. Instead,
get that out of here.
Yeah, leave in a incoherent mess. And I will say this: I have defended plenty of bad comic book films. Batman and Robin, for example, it is not a good film, but it is a bad, entertaining film. And they made the film they wanted to make without interference
Yeah.
from the studio, setting them out, being like, just make the movie that we want you to. They did it. Okay. X-Men Origins Wolverine is bad, but I get a perverse enjoyment and laughter and this part of me that it's like it sucks, but at least it's entertainingly bad. There's none of that here. I did not have that here. I legit was mad after leaving this film, and the last time I felt this way was Pacific Rim 2, whatever the hell it's called. I can't remember, but oof.
You make it. There's something to be said. X-Men Origins Wolverine in particular, about a shit movie with a great cast.
Mm-hmm.
You got Hugh Jackman and Liev Schreiber just acting their asses off, doing their best to rescue that movie from its screenplay. You don't have that kind of support here.
No.
We're going to talk about that Uproxx article here soon, but like you have Jared Leto again, Jared Letoing all over the place, making himself nearly impossible to work with. They told Matt Smith to be a hammy villain, and I love Matt Smith.
Yeah,
I
he's
love
great.
him. I will go to bat for Matt Smith all day, every day. These are one of those moments where I also enjoy a hammy villain as much as the next guy.
Mm-hmm.
This felt very. I understand the concept of a hammy villain, and I'm just gonna be big arms and
Yeah.
just wild and saying shit. And also, like, again, I know everyone's been harping on the dialogue, but like people don't fucking talk like this. I've never. I remember seeing the trailer and the loud laugh I let out at some type of bat radar sense, and like that's the first place you took it, and the fact that like the newspaper says vampire murder, it all is just so messy and incoherent, and
Yeah.
uh the long legacy of Sony never learning their lesson
Mm-hmm.
is something that I think is remarkable. That
Eh,
not only are we still trying to steal the phrase that Nando v Movies coined on Twitter the other night, not only are they still trying to just brute force the Sinister Six into
uh-huh.
existing,
Oh my
um,
God, that scene. Yeah.
they also literally are repeating plot points from some of their worst movies.
I was gonna say, like,
Like
watching this, I
this
was
is
like, wait, isn't that the Osborn and Peter Parker plot? It's the same thing. What happened here?
exactly.
Like,
Exactly. I was thinking about that. I was like, isn't this just like all that's missing is Dane DeHaan just I hate you, Spider-Man. Like,
uh-huh.
like throwing the whiskey decanter across the room.
Yeah.
Um I I don't it oh man, so many decisions were made, and like, and again, I don't have an issue with fantastical Marvel movie bullshit.
Yeah.
If a giant purple man with magic space rocks can erase half of the universe and then the Hulk can bring it back, I don't care.
Yeah.
My suspension of disbelief is not an issue. What blew me the hell away was I really thought they were going to try to do something mystical. And because in the trailers,
Same.
it's like it's him going into the cave and slitting his hand open and like putting it in front of the cave
Mm-hmm.
opening. And it's like, oh, okay, so like something like weird is gonna happen inside that cave. Um, no, it feels like an alternate opening that ended up in the movie by
Yeah.
accident. And he just injects himself with bat blood. Not and again, it's like I thought with the whole he invented synthetic blood and all of that stuff that you could do something with
Mm-hmm.
him uh messing with the synthetic blood and the bat DNA, and
Yeah.
that's how you arrive at like accidentally creating
I was also
vampires.
thinking that as well, and like watching the
But
film,
he,
'cause it's like it's set in the Venom universe, right? Clearly, like
yeah,
it's so like Venom with the Be Carnage just had a mutant character, Shriek, right? And they never explain her power.
yeah,
She just has them. I was like, so why couldn't the dialogue just be like, I'm trying to also experiment with these things, and I injected myself with experimental something, but there was no explanation. It's like, why are you
it's just bat blood.
yeah, just bat blood. Just inject it in and you got the power. You're like, why?
And that was the thing that was really weird for me. And I'm
Mhm.
spending the entire movie going like, there's got to be like another element here.
Yeah.
There's got to be something on top of here, please.
No.
And again, you can cinema sins these types of movies to death. And whether or not that doing that is actually still funny or good entertainment is its own conversation. But there's some things in this movie that I'm just baffled made it past past the first draft, it
So
seems like.
I want to bring that up because something that caught me, I'm probably going to get the line wrong, but like there's the line where he's like turning into the vampire or whatever. And he's like, I can't remember the exact quote because God, I want to forget, but he's just literally like, tomorrow I have to feast on blood, but I won't. I was like, oh, like the line reading, the delivery, the way they wrote it, I was like, clearly this was a first draft. Like they did
Yeah.
not have a revision
Yeah.
of this thing. It's just it. My God, it's like
Like,
another take would have worked. Come on.
well, here's another fun one. Morbius sneaks up on Martine on the bus. And then in the next cut, they're in the diner and she's doing the thing where she's trying to coax him to put his hand in the sunlight for him to do the not that kind of vampire joke. They had to get off the bus to go into the diner, which means he walked through the sunlight to get in there. Unless it is a very cloudy day and the shadow cast by those buildings is so tall that he was completely exposed.
I'd like to imagine he pulled a Blade One like Deacon Frost, and he just covered himself in like sunblock and toothpaste, and he's standing out there. It's like the sunlight can't touch me now.
Yeah, well, that was the thing. I was like, okay, like, how did Martine not go? Okay, well, I guess he's not going to catch on fire if he stands in the sun.
Yeah.
The Buffy rules don't apply, I guess. Like and I was impressed by that. I am surprised there was not at least one really bad Buffy joke.
Same.
That actually, I don't know if I'm impressed, but I'm surprised. But yeah, just little stuff like that. That again, yeah, sure. There's stuff like that all over, the MCU that you and I laud over. But like, it's normally fun enough to not notice shit like that. I just the other day finally realized that Peter Parker's hair changes mid-scene in Infinity War. I'm too engaged in what's actually happening in Infinity War to notice Tom's hair go from like slick back to kind of like puffy, like because there's enough going on. This movie, like, I'm so bored by it that during the movie I go, didn't you have to walk in and like off the bus to get in the diner?
Yeah. What
Didn't that have to happen?
that's the thing when the film is moving along and there's enough dead like time in the film that you can question what you just saw and like look over to the person next to you, be like, want to talk about this because nothing interesting is happening. And then you still turn back a couple minutes later, like, okay, nothing else is happening either. Like it falls apart. Like you said, Infinity War. It's easy to pick out some of the moments for that film. You know why it took people getting the film home and watching it multiple times to realize that the Ant-Man sequence doesn't make sense when there's a giant man over there, but Ant-Man's over there? Because people are so engaged in the characters and the plot working and everything else that you forget that one CG moment for 3 seconds, right? Because you're so engaged. This film doesn't have anything interesting, so ripping apart the moments that don't work is so easy because they're so obvious that they sit there for so long. You're like, you really shouldn't hang on this for that long. And they're like, oh no, we will. And it's just,
Yeah.
yeah, it's bad. It is choice. Like you could have probably cut another 30 minutes of this film and had it be more rapid pace so people don't pick up on your errors, but then you would have like what had a hour long episode. So I don't know. It's
Yeah.
rough.
I it's it there are decisions here that are baffling. The okay, nice thing I will say, I like the vampire effect. I
Yeah.
thought that was neat. Um I watching the movie, watching the finale, the final battle with Milo. Um which note from my girlfriend about this movie, having Matt Smith's real but fake sounding British accent say all of these M names in quick succession. Everybody had the same name by the end. Like it became impossible to tell the difference between Milo, brother. Whenever Morbius started summoning the bats in the underground fight, I instantly could tell where that was going, and I
Mhm.
wanted so badly to be wrong. And oh, real quick before I get into that, tell me I'm not crazy. Did this movie just like rip the melody from Batman Begins?
Oh, straight up, they did not replace it. They did not replace it. They just aped it.
Like I remember, there's a scene where he's like storming through, and there's bats, and it's like, brr, 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 brr.
Uh-huh.
And I looked over, like, this is just the fucking music from Batman Begins.
Yeah. Yeah. It's literally, it has that like, I was like, quick, somebody's gonna get sued for this, right?
Yeah, like movie about bats is just use the same melody. Just use that same
Amazing.
chord. Oh, good God. But when he starts to lift up into the air, as I was saying the words, I was like, is he about to bat Kamehameha Milo? Is that how he wins?
No.
And I was so glad. Shouts out fan on Twitter and patron Will Hardy said the same shit on Twitter. He was like, I still can't stop thinking about the bat Kamehameha. And I said, this will be the linchpin of my review.
Now,
Don't you worry.
I want to bring this up because maybe I was so ready to leave that I was just like, I don't give a I don't fucking care what's going on anymore. But he can control the bats, right? Like he's like, ooh, swirly bats and fucking
Yeah, it seems like it, yeah.
right. So, well, okay. Do they explain why Milo has the same thing, but he can't do shit?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
I was like,
That
wait,
he has the same. He in theory should have the same exact power set.
yeah, same, like
But isn't
identical.
able to go bats. Stop it.
He literally does nothing. He just like he could do the face twitch thing, I guess. So like whatever the hell that thing Morbius does, like, but other than that, it's like what else? Don't like. How is this decided? So if the third person gets them, like what's her name when she gets it at the end? Because that's clearly the
Yeah.
tease for the sequel. Are her powers going to be like? I don't know, or I got inconsistent at best. I didn't get it. I was like, maybe I'm too stupid to understand the complexity of Morbius, or the film just didn't explain it to me.
Well, no, it's just I don't know. Maybe Michael is more bonded to the bats or some bullshit. Like
Sure,
that's what they're
yeah,
gonna go with. Like,
yeah.
okay, whatever. But it's just such a strange decision, Like even both Venom movies just came down to Venom punched the other guy harder.
Yeah.
Like I don't think anybody in your audience is gonna be opposed to Michael just out fighting Milo. You
So
know,
I agree with that. I'm not gonna lie. I honestly wish that this film would have taken the good old trope of a laser in the sky and shoved it into the third act because that could have made it more interesting. If Milo was maybe like, everybody needs to feel the pain that we've lived through. I'm gonna reverse a blue laser to release bat power on everybody and they'll die because they can't handle it because it's not their immune system. I would have been like, you know what? At least you have a direction other than, oh, you're just an innocent guy who, oh, okay. Oh, like they needed something more. It felt like there was another cut of this film, which we now know there was, because the director spent multiple times talking about how there was a jail breakout scene, there was the Morbius scene, Venom was in that scene. That's all been cut. There's at least another 15 minutes that were cut from this film. So, like,
Yeah.
where'd they go?
Well, I mean, I think that's a good segue to get into the Uproxx article. Again, I found out about this. I saw on TikTok. I saw Ben Bateman, Team Action film critic, talking about this on TikTok. So I tracked the article down. I haven't read it yet, so buckle up, kids. This is Mike Ryan, senior editor and writer at Uproxx. Before you read this, I want you to know that I think that Daniel Espinosa is a terrific filmmaker. Life is a fantastic horror thriller and a whole lot of fun, and Safe House has turned into one of those movies that's on cable nonstop, and I watch it every time it's on. I've probably seen at least parts of it 20 times by now. So that's why Morbius is such a head scratcher. Espinosa makes good movies. Morbius literally feels like there are scenes missing, though it performed okay at the box office this weekend. Get ready for Morbius 2, kids.
Unfortunately.
Unleashing historically bad reviews. So I asked him directly what happened. I really want to give Espinosa credit for doing this interview. A lot of people by that point would have just canceled. To the point I told him I didn't believe for a second that this movie was released in theaters is the one he turned in. Morbius is taking such a beating online. I wanted to give a filmmaker I like a chance to at least have some say in the narrative that's being painted. The writer goes on the note that he does not believe that the crock of shit that we saw is Espinosa's fault. I asked him about the post-credit scene with Michael Keaton as Vulture that made absolutely no sense. Keaton was touted as one of the stars in the movie. He's in the trailer, but now he's relegated exclusively to a post-credit scene being transported to the MCU. Transported from the MCU to the universe of Morbius and Venom. And then he asked Morbius, who in the whole film is painted as an ambitious guy who just took things too far, if he wants to team up and fight Spider-Man. At no point does Morbius even mention Spider-Man, nor is there any reason to believe Morbius would have any beef with Spider-Man, let alone have any interest in teaming up with this criminal to fight Spider-Man. Also, when Morbius was being filmed, I heard a story about something that happened on set that I always wondered if it was true. So I asked Espinosa if that actually happened. And to my shock, he did confirm what I heard was indeed true. Okay. Getting into this stuff. This is from the writer. I don't know if you saw this, but people at the time thought it was the beginning of a Venom movie. Do you remember that? I know. Yeah, exactly. In Morbius, Michael Keaton is in the trailers, but then in the movie, he doesn't show up until the post-credit. It seems like some things are reworked. I'm wondering, after Spider-Man No Way Home, did you have to change Michael Keaton's role in order to match up with the events of that movie? Is that what happened? Espinosa's response, it was more that when Spider-Man came out, they said, we know how this works and we have a visual concept of how to make this, but the idea of having different timelines was something that was, for me, introduced within the movie universe within the Spider-Verse. When we were talking about making the movie, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse had just come out and was a huge success. I told the guys, this is super common among comic book readers. Well, there are scenes of Michael Keaton in the trailer that aren't in the movie, so that's why I was wondering if some things had to be reworked to match No Way Home. Yeah, exactly. The thing that happened was that we had Michael Keaton because we were planning on doing this. But then when Spider-Man No Way Home came out, it said, this is how the visual effects are. And then the idea of having him just encountering him in that universe seemed too complicated. And then we put it in the end. Okay, so did you have to cut some things to make it match up with No Way Home? Is that accurate? Yes, because we have to match. I don't know how the teleportation would look in that movie, like the crack in the sky thing. Yeah, exactly. That wasn't done. That didn't exist. So there was all these small things that had to be addressed. But I think the concept of having different timelines were, I believe, came from Sony, not from Kevin Feige. It was Sony that initiated the idea. I think that Miles Morales that you have in Spider Verse, I bet your life that you would have Miles Morales from the Spider Verse in the MCU at some point.
He's trying to
Okay.
jack off Sony for credit so bad. It's like, no.
The thing I wasn't clear on in the post-credit scene is when Vulture says, "I think this is Spider-Man's fault. This is a Spider-Man's fault. We should team up and fight him." How does Morbius know who Spider-Man is? Also, the movie establishes that Morbius is a good man who got too ambitious and created the serum, and some bad things happened. But at his heart, he's not a bad person. Why would Morbius be interested in teaming up with this criminal? First of all, Vulture is not a criminal in that universe just yet. That's fair, but why would Morbius be interested in what Vulture has to say in the first place? Exactly. I think it's a meeting of those because in this world, Spider-Man exists. In all the different Marvel timelines, you have a Spider-Man. It's a totem. In the Marvel universe, what you say is that you have to have a Spider-Man in each universe for it to function. He's one of those fundamental beings. Now that's how it is in the comic books. Okay, sure. But there's nothing in the movie that establishes that Morbius has any beef with Spider-Man whatsoever. Oh, exactly. I think that's more one of those scenes that are made that when you have scenes before that in a movie comes along that will explain that reposition. I heard a story about filming and want to see if this is true. Someone told me that Jared Leto was so committed to playing Michael Morbius that even when he had to go to the bathroom, he would use his crutches and slowly limp up to get to the bathroom. But it was taking so long between for pee breaks that a deal was made with him to get him a wheelchair so someone could wheel him in quicker, and he agreed to that. Is that true? Yes. All right. Yeah, because I think what Jared believes is that somehow the pain of those movements, even when he was playing normal Michael Morbius, he
Yeah. Yep.
No.
The entire thing
Shut
is a joke.
The fuck up.
The
No.
entire thing's a fucking joke. It's
oh
so.
my
Come
god.
on.
Jesus Christ. This is why people hate him.
Yep.
This is why people hate him. What are you doing?
You know,
What are you doing?
Mitch,
Your character isn't even using crutches anymore.
I told Mitch
Oh my
that at
God.
that post-credit scene where Michael Morbius is speeding away in a car, it's clearly because they know what type of women he's into and they're not legal yet. They're going to tie that into this universe, trust me. James Gunn is coming after him.
Death to all of them.
If you don't know what I'm talking about, look that up because there are some shady stories about Jared Leto and his weird cult. So,
Jared Leto. Good golden rule here. People who have sex cults typically aren't great people. So yeah. It looks like most of this is there's not much left to this article. So yeah, that was fucking incoherent and shed no light on the situation whatsoever. I mean, invocation of the spider totems, which is cool. Clearly the director, clearly Espinoza is familiar with the Spider-Verse comic book storyline. So like, maybe I get more Lund in the next movie. Maybe my foot stomping that I want my pan-dimensional soul-sucking vampires to show up in a movie. Maybe I get some type of monkey's paw type request granting, and I get it in whatever the fuck Morbius 2 ends up being.
Yeah.
Now,
okay. I want to ask you this because obviously they set up Morbius 2. They're forcefully jamming in a
brute force in it
square into a circular peg. They're gonna fit that shit in there. It doesn't matter if it's fucking a million pieces. It's gonna happen. So how This was literally like when the movie ended, I sat there for a second and I looked at my wife and I said, I'm a fucking idiot or I missed something. Because she was like, well, I was like, how the fuck does Vulture have Shatari and Stark Tech in this universe? How did this,
Yeah.
how? Where did this come from?
Where did that come from? Again, the fact that there's a Spider-Man in the Venomverse now. Like the fact that Michael Morbius didn't even go, Spider-Man?
Yeah. He's just like, do it. We're going to take that bastard out. It's like, where has he been? Where?
I literally, because I figured there were only 2 credit scenes. So like literally that happened. The lights started to come up in the theater. I stand up out of my chair and like it's while they're like revving up into like the to go back into the credits. I literally out loud went, "Shut the fuck up," and just like started to stand up to leave. I was and I looked over. And my girlfriend's like, "Oh no! What if there's another credit scene?" And I texted some of the people I knew who had seen it. I was like, "How many credit scenes are there?" I got 2. I said, "They said there's 2. We're leaving." I was like, "We need to go. I can't be in this room anymore. Like, I'm not liable for what I do if I'm in this movie theater any longer. You know, like someone might get hurt. I need to go."
Next thing you know, it's going to be host of the Nerd Academy, part of a deposition.
Yeah.
He's caused some damage and said some things that didn't hurt people.
Yeah. Morbius was a false flag.
It's a Sony false flag operation.
Next thing you know, I'm getting deposed by Mark Bankston. Yeah, that's right, guys. I knowledge fight pilled Armin too. I'm slowly doing it to everybody. I'm spreading the good word of Dan and Jordan.
The craziness, my God.
Oh my God. Episode 666 came out on Monday. It was a good time.
I got to listen to that today, so it's gonna be good.
Yeah, they have a special theme song for it and everything.
Good,
it's quite good.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, this movie's fucking awful, and
Awful.
I'm stunned by it. Like I saw this Saturday night, and it's Tuesday morning right now, and I'm still thinking about how bad it was. Like it really, really stuck with me, and you know, and here's my thing. I was trying to think, you know, and again, I saw a bunch of film critics, and look, the film critics I follow, like, you know, your William Bibiani's and whatever, and you know, he made a comment where he's like, "This is one of the worst superhero movies in recent times." And I was like, "Well, what about Suicide Squad? Like the David Ayer Suicide Squad?" And he's like, "Well, that was like 6 years ago now, so like, yeah, it's a recent time." And I was like, okay, so let's say Suicide Squad like was the worst superhero movie we had gotten in theaters in a very long time. Like that was the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
Like you had to work to surpass Suicide Squad in badness.
This is it.
Here's and you know and this is it. And I was trying to think about it. I was like, but then it hit me. I was like, you know what? I had fun watching Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
You know, like it's one of those DCEU movies that like I will go to bat for. I will happily go to bat for Suicide Squad, and I don't even have to do it ironically. You know, we talked about this a couple weeks ago in our like philosophy of the Batman episode. Like some of the Ben Affleck's best Batman moments are in that movie.
100%.
Like his best performance as Batman is in that movie. Like that is a legitimate defense you can use for that movie to go to bat for 2016 Suicide Squad. You know,
I mean, just Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn, perfect.
Margot is Harley Quinn. You know, Slappy is Deadshot. You know, there's so much like again, like we said with X-Men Origins Wolverine. There are some superhero movies that have a stellar cast and a shit script, and you hilariously have like a group of people who are working their ass off to sell this terrible screenplay. And the thing that both of those movies have in common, I can't even defend with Morbius because I defend Jared Leto's Joker.
I mean, I defend what it could have been, not what it ended up being. You know, like many of the deleted scenes, I thought he was a decent enough Joker when you see it. Like, but the way they ended up doing it, yeah. But in this, there's like the last film I hated this much. I think might have been Fan4stick. Like legitimately, it's just like,
I still haven't even seen it. I
good,
still like that's
good.
one of the few times I actually swore off seeing
Yeah.
I knew a movie was bad and swore off seeing it because I like Fantastic Four like as a
Yeah.
group too
This
much.
thing is just, it's up there. It's next level bad. Like I regretted leaving the theater and having to pre-order the Steelbook because I need it as part of the collection, right? Because I got a Marvel Steelbook collection. Every single Marvel movie I will own in Steelbook. And I saw it. It's like Best Buy. It's like, now you could pre-order Morbius. I was like, oh, like it hurt pre-ordering because I'm like, I'm never going to open it, but it's got to sit there
No.
on the damn shelf because, so I'll watch it one more time for the audio commentary. I'm going to rope in at least a couple suckers to keep me occupied during that commentary, and then I'm done. And then never again. Never again. It's just like Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Twice was enough.
Yeah, there's a part of me that's like, I look forward to rewatching Venom: Let There Be Carnage one day.
It'll probably be better on a rewatch. I'll be real with you. Now that I kind of know what's coming, like, yeah, and it's better than Morbius. So
Yeah, it's just the Morbius is just lacking fun. Like it just does not feel fun. It's just dumb. It's dumb without the fun. It's dumb without the fun of being a dumb fun movie. You
yep,
know. And I also just want to say, like, I can be the only person who was uncomfortable during the scene with Milo and Martine with like the call his name shit. Like
yeah,
that felt super assaulty. Like I that also did not need to be framed that way. But on top of that, I also want to call attention to again, how do Morbius's powers work? Because you are in New York fucking city and like it still seems like Michael's being surprised by all of his powers throughout the
yeah.
movie, but was able to like hone in on Martine's voice and Milo's with
I've
his like super bat hearing.
questions, no answers, and
All
that's
questions, no
and
answers.
I want to bring this up. Some people said, well, had the original rumors been true, and when they delayed it, had they added Andrew Garfield, that could have made the movie better. I'm like, no, it would have actively made it
No,
worse. Then in the third act,
no.
he just shows up and does what? What would Spider-Man do?
Well,
Ugh.
listen, things being in a movie don't make them inherently good.
Yeah.
Like you could have like No Way Home could have been a poorly made movie that happened to have a really cool thing in it with the three Spider-Men.
Mm-hmm.
The three Spider-Men does not inherently make No Way Home better.
Yeah.
It's just a cool thing that since it was executed well, worked really well. Look at Flash whenever we maybe one day get that movie in a theater. Uh we will have two versions of Batman in that movie.
Yep.
That does not mean that the movie will be good just because it has two of the best Batman actors.
From what I understand, that film might assault your charges and your brain, and
Yes.
it seems like it's a little bit of a mess behind the scenes in many regards in terms of what was happening because they're still going to apparently go back for some pretty big reshoots as well. So like
Are
that
you
film could
kidding?
be a kind of like a literally an assault on your brain from because some screenings that happen that I know just talking to people that kind of look at these things and know about them, some stuff was not received very well. So I don't know, but it's like, again, like you say, Spider-Man, No Way Home could have been a terrible film. It could have legit been god awful, but we got something good there, thank God. But
Yeah.
it's, yeah. Oh,
But and again, like those things do not inherently make the movie good. Like again,
hmm,
Avengers Endgame could have been a mess. Like if you keep the portal scene the same, just because the movie's bad and has this really cool scene doesn't like inherently unfuck the rest of the movie.
right.
You know? Like sure, throw Andrew in there and it's like, cool, we have a Spider-Man cameo. We have a Spider-Man for this universe. Finally, like the Tasmverse and the Venomverse were the same universe the whole time. I hope that's what they choose to do. Yeah, but also, guys, let's not forget the fact that Andrew Garfield's like a prestige actor now. You know, between Tick Tick Boom and that one show coming out on Hulu and FX at the end of the month that looks so goddamn good. Like I don't like they're gonna have to step up their game if they want Andrew Garfield.
They're going to have to at least put together a script that's as competent as TASM 1, which wasn't the most competent thing, but at least it was leagues above what we got from Sony since TASM 1. So
it wasn't seemingly deliberately bad.
Exactly. Yeah.
So like, you know, it would be cool to have Andrew Garfield be this universe's Spider-Man, but again, like I don't think he wants to bring down his now Oscar level career. You know, like he was nominated for Best Leading Actor. Like he's come a long way from TASM 2, kids. And it's not that he was bad before. Like the motherfucker was in The Social Network before he was Spider-Man.
Yeah.
You know, and that he's like my favorite part of that whole movie. So I don't have my hopes up for them pulling in
same
Spider-Man. And having a Vulture that's from a different universe somehow with his entire Vulture suit.
And I love the fact that Vulture is here, and instead of being like, hold up a second, what are my priorities? Fight Spider-Man, or B,
where's my family?
Where's my daughter and my wife and my house and everything I owned? Oh no. No. Just fight Spider-Man. And here's the crime of this. You know damn well Sony has taken the actor who played Scorpion, Voss from Far Cry. He's just going to have been transported as well just so they can use a talented actor and F him over as a terrible version of Scorpion.
And what really scares me is like Spider-Man already had some like we're taking away Spider-Man's rogues in the MCU.
Yeah.
Which is what's frightening me. Like, because I thought the same damn thing, dude. That that Matt Gargan is like, and now he's gonna get to become Spider-Man or Scorpion in this universe. So now MCU Peter's down a Vulture that he can go back to having a normal Spider-Man Vulture relationship with.
Mm-hmm.
He's not gonna get to have Scorpion, who would have been a great villain, like a continuous villain to have in future MCU appearances. You know, like we're back to where what villains does Spider-Man have left now? You know, what fucking universe is Kraven gonna take place in?
That fucking film. That film is gonna be what does me in. That film, I can feel it. Yeah. And let's be real, that's gonna be set in this universe as well. And they got Madam Web or whatever else they're working on, and it's like, and they did threaten. They're like, "Oh, we are going to reveal who Spider-Man is in this universe soon." Well, that's unfortunate because if it's Tom Holland, then the MCU is fucked, and if it can only really be Tom Holland or Andrew Garfield, right? So
yeah, you don't be one of the two, and you know, I'm at the point where I'm like, cast another actor.
Same. Yep.
Like literally, again, we're at the point where audiences understand, you know, there's this one and there's that one. There's this one and there's that one. And I'm sure they'll find a way to coax Tom into hopping universes so he can be the Spider-Man to meet the other Spider-Man, you know. Like you can do it, find some bullshit reason to bullshit whatever and throw everybody a bone. I'm disappointed. Like I'm starting to get really nervous for the MCU Spider-Man now.
Same. Yep.
I'm really nervous that No Way Home is it now.
Because you got that same feeling, the way they end No Way Home, with nobody knowing who Peter Parker is, if he was to just never appear again, it could kind of make sense. And I get nervous about that, because it's like, they straight up left it because Sony wanted it like this. So nobody remembers him. It's like, that's unfortunate.
It's concerning. It's incredibly concerning. And I'm not excited about it as a fan of MCU Spider-Man. But we can only wait to see what comes of it. I think we're ready to bring this home. Our main final thoughts and the letter grade.
Oh, God. See, I haven't even scored it. Okay, a letter grade. Final thoughts. Well, it is a film made by Sony, with the lowest common denominator quite possibly not even being in mind, because they actually make this film for lower than the lowest common denominator. So I don't know what that means for the film, but it's not good. If I had to give this a letter grade on a typical grading scale, I would give this a D. Just a D. It gets a D. And it gets a D for a possible D, or how hard the D went inside of me dry watching this film. It's just, that's what it gets it for. It is terrible. I hate it. I feel like it deflated me, like it killed my energy. I can't describe what this film did to me. I've never felt like an hour and a half could drag longer. And I watched WrestleMania the same weekend. I watched 9 hours of WrestleMania, and that felt shorter, okay? Like, Morbius literally did a number on me. I can't explain it.
The movie theater I watched Morbius in had tables. And there were multiple times where a line of dialogue or a development in the plot literally just had me shoot my chair out from under the table and just hold on to the table like this and just stare at my plate and wonder just how badly I needed to make a Morbius review.
Yep.
And I knew the person. It was a friend of my brother's who sold me my ticket and my food. And they came in. They said, "Here for Morbius." And I said, "Unfortunately." And everyone behind the counter laughed really hard. And I looked at them and I said, "I'm only here because I have to do a review for it." And they went, "Yeah, that checks out." And I was like, "Cool." And I went in there, like I said, just multiple times, did one of these because I just needed space. And the whole movie led up to the climax being a bat Kamehameha. And the bat Kamehameha needs to live in the annals of dipshit comic book movie bullshit. It needs to be up there with the dance sequence in Spider-Man 3. I'm not talking about get on up, drive that fucking soul. I'm not talking about this shit. I'm talking about the dance number at the club.
Yeah.
This belongs up there with that. This belongs up there with some of the dumber shit in the Suicide Squad. This is bat nipples. This is what the dinosaurs, the Ice Age.
See, I think it's unfortunate because Morbius is so boring that it won't even reach that, because people legit will not. It's too boring to even hit that level, which is an indictment of this thing.
It has all of the stupidity of early 2000s superhero movies, which is what Sony has just decided they do. They just make superhero movies.
We make classic comic book movies.
Yeah, we make
They're classics now. My God,
we make shit that makes you go home and go, "Fuck, I want to watch Daredevil."
Yeah,
not the show, the Ben Affleck,
the
movie.
Ben Affleck movie.
But with, as you had just said, none of the fun. It lacks all of the fun and brain dead glee that comes from watching Colin Farrell go bullseye. It has none of that. It has none of that charm. None of that witless charm. It is just witless and devoid of fun. And I give it an F. Fuck this movie. Again, same guy who defends Batman v Superman and Suicide Squad. Fuck this movie. I give it an F. And I will not be returning to it. unless I'm one of the people that gets roped into doing an audio commentary.
Say you want to do an audio commentary?
At which point I can't tell Armin no. I will come out of Morbius retirement. But yeah, so this movie's terrible. If you have seen it, sorry. If you didn't, don't. I normally like, with a movie like this, sometimes I'm like, you know what? If you want to experience the train wreck for yourself, I can't tell you not to see the movie. But this is not one of those situations. This is not so bad that it's fun to watch. It's just trash. So yeah. With that, Armin, where can the lovely people find you, buddy?
Find me, just search up the CBC, the Comic Book Cast. That's gonna be one of those. Yeah, the places. I talked about Morbius plenty here, so that's all you really need to know my thoughts on it. But otherwise, I'm on the places and the things, all the social medias, whatever they are. I try to keep up, but I don't really. So, but yes, on the YouTubes, and find the Facebook group. That's where you need to go. The Comic Book Cast group, I think, is what it's called. Go there.
Yes.
We have fun.
Yes, and you get to see all of the franchises Armin accidentally spun out.
Yes.
Which will never not entertain me, that Nick and their team. I'm like, oh my god, I was literally the same age. I'm like, I want to do the same thing. It's so fucking funny. It's history is a flat circle. Speaking of, you guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at DarkJedi2552, and you can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on our website, www.nerdacademypodcast.com, where, if you're feeling generous, you can donate to our Patreon.
Give me $1.
Speaking of our patrons, thank you to our $10 alumnus, Nick Johnson. And Alex Jones's pedophilic globalist reptilian QAnon horse, ivermectin. I was looking forward to saying that patron name with Armin on.
That's a pretty good one.
Yeah. Paco always brings the heat. Guys, it's April, so movie club theme this month is going to be so bad it's good. At some point this week, I don't know if the main channel will be getting it, but I know Patreon will be. We're doing our audio commentary and episode for Catwoman. And then...
Fuck. Morbius the cow, Jesus Christ, how are you not in a fucking insane asylum? My god, I would not inflict that on my fucking worst enemy. Jesus.
I will be taking a lot of psychic damage this month. Yeah, so bad it's good month. We're still trying to figure out if we're gonna do House of Gucci for so bad it's good month. Because I don't think that's a bad movie, but the Jared Leto scenes alone meet The Room level hilarious, in my opinion. Did you ever get around to seeing House of Gucci, Armin?
I did not, but it's on my list.
Dude, I need you to report back the moment you finish that movie.
Oh no.
Dude, Leto, you're not fucking ready, dude. You are not ready. Everyone in the movie is just doing these really understated Italian accents, nothing too crazy. And then the Jared Leto sounds like he's playing fucking Mario. Dude, I'm not bullshitting you at all. I am not bullshitting you at all.
Oh no.
This shit's amazing.
Oh no.
End of the month, Spencer and I will finally have the Versus Series Season 2 tournament live stream. He's done with grad school for a little bit. So we will finally be able to have the time to do that live stream, finish that, and then come May, get the Versus Series going as it is supposed to every month on the Patreon. Thank you, everybody, for your patience with us on that one. Also, give us a couple weeks to play it a little bit before we jump into it, and we will also have a review of Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga. I was actually playing it before we got started here. It took all of the will I had in my body to put that down, and then
that's why I didn't start it before this. I was like, I know what's going to happen. So
I appreciate your will for also not doing what I considered doing very briefly. Going, maybe the world doesn't need another Morbius review. But yeah, that's all I can think of in terms of housekeeping stuff. So yeah, also number one contender will be back this week. We're actually recording it tonight when Travis gets home from work. Anybody who watches number one contender who also watches the main show, quick disclaimer: we meant to record it, and then so we were going to record it. That big match between Marisol McKee and Sam Levine happened March 25th, my birthday. I got off work early for my birthday. Joel surprised me to come into town. We were already at the bar. So Spencer, Joel with and I and Taylor babysitting us. I realized halfway through the night that I didn't think I was exactly going to be able to wake up at 9 a.m. to record a podcast. So I texted Travis. I was like, let's do it Tuesday night. And then we pushed it to Tuesday night. And then he got out of work early, but I wasn't done watching that Schmodown doubleheader for our Friday Night Titans. So we were like, okay, so let's push it to Wednesday morning. Well, between Tuesday night and Wednesday morning, I got deathly ill and had the stomach bug from hell. You know what? That was a joke I forgot to make. I spent most of last week shitting and puking my guts out, and Morbius was still the worst thing that happened to me last week. Violently. So I got violently ill and was not able to record it. And then, yeah. So sorry about that. Number one contender super late, but we'll be covering the 3 episodes of Friday Night Titans. So that'll be 6 Schmodown matches we'll be covering on number one contender this week to make up for us being kind of really behind, most of which being my fault, either by virtue of birthday or stomach bug. So
it's how it goes, man. People know.
yeah. Oh, I felt so bad because I just kept jerking Travis around, and he's always a trooper with that stuff. But yeah, thank you guys so very much for watching and listening. Armin, thank you for joining for some Morbius talk. Always a pleasure to have you on the show. So yeah, don't watch this fucking movie. Class dismissed.
Stop! Move away from the cookie jar.